So thank you, Tim, for joining this chat here. I just want to start by having you tell me a little bit about yourself, where you're from, what your hobbies are, a little bit about your background, if you don't mind.
Okay. So I'm originally from this area. I grew up in Northern Virginia and have lived in the Washington, D.C. area for my entire life. Um, we've been in our current house actually for, it's going to be 29 years this year. So we've been sort of in the same place for a long time. We lived in London for 4 years,
Oh,
from 2000 until 2004. But other than that, we've been pretty close to where we live in Northern Virginia. So, but I'm definitely, I lived in DC and
mhm.
feel like a local Washingtonian.
Yeah, for sure. What inspired you to get into the home care business?
People ask me that all the time, and I'm not sure if I want to answer that question because it's not really what inspired me to get in. I think that we sort of fell into it.
Okay.
Um, we were interested in franchising, but not specifically in home care. But home care attracted us because it seemed to align with our values and just seemed to be a good fit for us. But really, what keeps us in the business, I think, because it's a tough business to be in, but it's the ability to help people and really to help our employees. So we really like the fact that we are providing employment for close to 100 people in our area,
Wow.
and that we're helping people out who need care. So really, it's very rewarding. That's kind of what keeps us in the business.
Fair. That's amazing. 100 people. That's so there's clearly a need in Northern Virginia, and obviously we'll get into here. I have a question about your expansion, but what made you select Homewatch CareGivers when you were looking into the franchising space?
Yeah, that's easy to answer. We made a connection, of course, with the franchise development people, but then we came out to Denver. We had an opportunity to meet with the founder and his wife, and they took us out to lunch, and we really felt like we made a connection. Like these are people that have really got the right idea, and we're happy to follow in their footsteps. So that's really what sold us on Homewatch CareGivers.
Yeah, that real personal touch, right, with
Yep,
Paul. And
absolutely.
that's great to hear. And I see that you're celebrating a special milestone this year, 10 years in Sterling.
That is correct. We just signed our 10-year. We re-signed our franchise agreement. It's hard to believe that it's been 10 years. So I guess we opened our office in 2015. I think things went a little faster back then, the licensing process and so
Mm,
on. I don't know. It seemed like a real nightmare for us, but it went pretty smoothly compared to things I hear nowadays.
interesting. So, and then also I wanted to touch on you've expanded to Chantilly. And
Actually, we didn't expand. What we
oh,
did is, so I think the territory that we bought in 2010 really would not be a single territory today. It might be
mm,
two territories or maybe even more. We bought our territory, then we added some zip codes 2 years later, just
mm,
because it made logical sense. And then we felt that if we opened a second office, we have a kind of a sort of a virtual office, but if we opened a second office, that we would be able to go head to head against some of our competitors in the south of our territory. So, and it's
mm.
had, it's been about 6 to 9 months, I think, and it's had a noticeable effect. So we're getting a lot more business in the southern part of our territory now.
Okay, so the physical office is
Yep.
what, 6 to 9 months ago. Okay,
It is,
interesting.
and our lease is up for renewal, and I think it's quite likely that we may actually split and have two sort of equal-sized offices or something of that nature, because it really helps to be physically near the clients, in my opinion.
Right. Okay. That's great. Can you talk a little bit more about that process, like what that would look like for Sterling in particular, not having an office space prior?
Well, so I mean, so we, especially since COVID, we're a lot more virtual in the way that we work.
Mhm.
So we use Microsoft Teams.
Yep.
Even though we all sit near each other, it's just as easy to work from home because
Right.
everything is done, you know, over the internet. So it's very easy for us to collaborate. So having people in separate locations is really not that big of a deal. But
Hmm.
we really like to provide a personal touch with our clients. We try to introduce the caregiver on the, do caregiver introductions on the first day. We like to get out and meet the clients. Our nurses do QA, but I encourage other people in the office to get out and meet the clients. And being
Right.
physically close really helps us do that. I think we provide kind of a high touch experience.
Hmm.
We're very customer service focused, and I think that people appreciate that.
I would agree. Yeah, especially in this business for sure. But
Yeah.
that's great. Um, some more questions here for you. What do you love most about your job? You kind of touched on it earlier, but what's your favorite thing?
I think, I don't really do this so much, but my favorite thing is getting out and meeting the clients.
Hmm.
Uh, I don't like, I don't so much like selling as I like getting to know the clients. Maybe, I don't know. I mean, I'm good at selling, but I really like to get to know the clients as people and
Hmm.
make a connection there. For me, that's the most fun thing. But yeah,
That's the rewarding part for sure.
it is.
And what are you most excited about for 2025 with your businesses?
And I'm excited about getting my act together because we had a tough 2024. And looking back, the reason was that we had a bad year last year was because we had a great year in 2023.
Mm.
And just speaking for myself, I thought, oh, this is easy, and I took my eye off the ball. I
Mhm.
didn't plan properly, and just wasn't focused as much on the business. So, we've regained that focus. We've got a really good plan for 2025, and it's a success-oriented plan. So it doesn't rely on, it doesn't rely on anything that's outside of our control.
Sounds like a great plan. Keep it
I hope
all,
so.
yeah, head
Yeah,
down and really go after it, right?
yeah, exactly.
And my last question here to wrap up is what advice do you have for either new franchise owners coming in to the business or those that, are seasoned veterans like yourself? What advice do you have for other franchise owners?
Well, my advice is really to focus on customer service. So we try to answer 100% of the calls that come in, and I think that we're pretty good at doing that. We try to follow up on 100% of late check-ins. So if we get that notification that a caregiver is late, we are on them and try to call the client before they call us. And I think that's
Mhm.
really done a lot for client satisfaction. And of course, we try to get to know our clients.
All great advice. That's awesome. Well, thank you for taking the time to chat with me. It was
It's a
great getting
pleasure.
to know you. I